What's up YouTube, it's Frenchie here, and I've got the second round of the Rubicon casual tournament battles that I did. And so in this one I am again going to be using Rome, and my opponent, who we cannot yet see, is, now we can see, is using Bactria. So first I'm just going to quickly go through my build. I've got an auxiliary Numidian Cav, and Associate Equites and Associate Equites Extraordinari on the right. And then on the left, I just have the Associate Equites and the Extraordinari. I have 5 Velites and 6 Legionary Cohorts. Wasn't allowed to take more since we're limited by the rule of only 6 of one unit. A Veteran Legionary, War Dogs, a Gladiator, and a Legatus. My opponent has got 2 Scythian Horse Archers, a line of pikes and thorax pikes. Some of them are not currently in view, but they're coming into view. He had 4 Bactrian Noble Horse, I believe, and an Indian Armored Elephant, as well as Persian Light Archers and 3 Eastern Slingers. So just quickly about the Indian Armored Elephant, those actually weren't allowed in this tournament, as I believe I mentioned in the last video, but during this battle I was unaware of that, and yeah, so I didn't say anything about it, didn't notice anything about it, but fortunately I was able to get the win regardless, so overall it didn't have an effect. But anyways, what I'm trying to do is catch these Scythian Horse Archers, since they used precision shot and will hopefully be tired. So I'm going to send my horses to start chasing him, and while I'm doing that I'm going to start trying to get our main lines engaged in a way that will favor me. So I'm going to rush up my Velites to engage, and this is something I'm really happy about, is that he had 3 Eastern Slingers and the Persian Light Archer instead of Bactrian Peltis, because coming into this battle I was definitely scared. Bactria versus Rome is a pretty bad matchup for Rome, because Bactrian Peltis are just so powerful that Rome really doesn't have a counter to a cheap pike line with Bactrian Peltis in front. And so I thought I was in trouble. But just quickly I'm going to point out, these War Dogs I get to send right in when he's in front, and they're going to start getting quite a few kills. You can see they're already on 16, and that number's going to go up, so we'll take a look at that at the end. But back to what I was saying is, that Bactrian Peltis build with cheap pikes, very, very difficult to counter. Especially with the units Rome has available. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that didn't happen, and it gave me a chance in this battle. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, I see this Scythian Horse Archer is now in the tired zone, and my Associate Equites Extraordinarii are just active, so I think even if he had turn and run, probably would have caught him. But you see, when I do catch him, it just wipes out the entire unit. So now he's going to start moving his noble horse around. I just want to keep these Velites protected, because I know they're my only way of taking down this Indian Armored Elephant. I also know that the Associate Equites Extraordinarii is going to be able to come in and wipe out his ranged units, so I'm not too worried right now. But I'm going to pull my Cav behind my lines, because engaging out here would be pointless when I have such clear infantry superiority. So I'm going to pull back into the protection of my Gladiators and my Cohorts, because that'll make me easily win the Cav fight, give me a lot of spare units. Now here I start to pull away thinking this is a pike unit, and then I realize it's not before I re-engage. But unfortunately I have formation attack on, so they're not going to do too much. The reason I kept formation attack on my infantry is just because I wanted to play this safe. Being my first time playing a tournament, I wanted to play a very safe style, and so I ended up using Rome for the first few rounds just because they're a reliable faction. You're not going to get unlucky with them or anything like that. And yeah, and leaving on formation attack to give me more time to react to things. So here I'm going to bring up this Legionary Cohort to support my Gladiators and Associate Equites Extraordinarii, and that should be bad news for his Bactrian Noble Horse, because although they're good cavalry, they're not going to win against a Legionary Cohort. Over here, he's getting his elephants into my infantry, and he wiped out that one unit, but they're going to drop pretty quickly since I have the Numidian Cav and several units of Velites focusing on them. In the back here, I've taken the Associate Equites Extraordinarii from over here, and he's just going to chew up the archers. And I also now have his pikes in a bad position, because they're facing this way, where most of my units are, but now I have legions coming up from the back, so as they turn around, I can just, with a little bit of micro, put him in a very bad situation. So he's going to start pulling out his one remaining, or surviving noble cab from this fight, and that now gives me these three very powerful units, a legionary cohort, a gladiator, and a sociequites extraordinarii, to redistribute throughout the fight. And you can start to see this is the moment when the balance of power starts shifting to the point of no return, really. I've got this legionary cohort engaging his general, which is going to win because I have the bonus versus infantry on the legionary cohort. He's maneuvering his back-trained noble horse correctly, taking out my velites, but the thing about javelins is that by this point in the fight, they're basically out of ammo. So I'm not sure how much good it's going to do him to take them out, besides just the morale penalty. But by this point in the battle, I'm just cleaning up everything he's got, and because of that, a lot of units are just going to waver when they otherwise might not, and so this is just going to be finishing him off. I am going frontally into this pike unit, but as you can see, my legions are right up against it, so that's not going to be too big of a problem. He's also got this pike unit turned with its back to most of my units, so that's going to rout a thorax pike pretty quickly, which is a good pike unit. It was probably already lost for him by this point, but there were definitely a couple of things he could have done better. Don't get me wrong, he played this very well. I think with the build he had, he did just about as well as could be expected, but here I break his general, and that's going to be game, because after that he doesn't... I mean, it was probably game before that, but yeah, the general going is definitely the final straw that broke the camel's back. But anyways, very good game to my opponent. Definitely had me worried for quite a while there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this battle. I'm going to quickly show the stats for the units, which I forgot to do last game, so I'm sorry about that. But anyways, as you can see, these war dogs ended up with 144 kills. And so even though a lot of those were on skirmishers, that's still the second most kills out of all my units, and they only cost 500. So I would view them as probably the most underused unit in the game for how good they can be, if you use them correctly. But anyways, as I said, very good game to my opponent. He definitely is a good player, and I'm sure that in the future he will do well in tournaments. And yeah, see you guys next time.